Na, szóval üdvözlet mindenkinek, folytatjuk a Chicken Police Painted Red-et, csak hát volt egy kis megzavarásos történet az egészben. Folytatjuk itt.
This guy seems strangely familiar to me.
You don't say. You've been treated here too. That would explain a lot.
Oh, don't be stupid. I'm serious. Take a closer look.
No.
Well?
No, it can't be. Are you telling me it's him? M.B. Davis himself?
I'm sure of it, pal. It seems the gossip was true. The eternal king of jazz in a madhouse.
Oh, no. Poor devil.
Nem már szerencsétlen csám.
It doesn't matter how big a star you once were. Ending up lonely and crazy in a rotting insane asylum in the middle of nowhere is like the universe restoring its balance.
That was very poetic of you, Marty. Almost deep. Careful you don't drown.
Fuck you.
We should go to reception first. Let them know we're here. We should check in first.
Ah, like an angel from heaven, isn't she?
Yeah, half of her's still up there, I think.
Fele még mindig ott van a mennyekben, azt mondja.
That's rude.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Of all the great wild ones.
Kilo!
Greetings, miss.
Is it really you?
Well, yes.
Yes, it really is you. The Chicken Police.
I'm afraid so.
Attól félek, azt mondja. Azt mondja, attól félek.
Of all that's furry and plumey, that's fantastic. Oh my goodness.
Miss, we'd like to ask...
Please, don't be scared. I'm just really excited. You know, I've read every book about you and your adventures, and I even collected newspaper articles when I was a little girl.
Indeed.
You can't imagine what an honor it is to meet you in person.
We really...
Igazán egy nagy fanboy itt van, fangirl, bocsánat.
Oh God, oh God, oh God. Take a deep breath, Miranda. Take a deep breath.
Ahogy egy jó régi haverom szokta mondani, kedves Marci, kilégzés, belégzés.
Are you okay, miss?
Mi ez a fotó róla beszólsz?
Yes, I am. I just needed some air. So, dear detectives, Santino and Martin, what can I do for you?
Well, miss, we have some questions, if you don't mind.
I'd love to answer all of your questions, detectives.
Jó. Különbözőket átnyálazzuk. Már csak 3 maradt. Girafa. Zsiráf.
Say, miss, what can you tell us about this place?
Our institution was standing even before the Great Meat War, and during the war, it was transformed into a military hospital. Since then, we're relentlessly working on treating injured minds under the leadership of Dr. Quetzal, the famous specialist.
The place seems pretty empty. Do many people work here?
We have 32 residents and 7 nurses, including me. We also have a 3-person maintenance and cleaning staff, and, of course, the heart and soul of our institution, Dr. Quetzal himself.
I see. Now, this Dr. Quetzal, is he the director here?
Exactly. Director, scientist, researcher, patron, and doctor. And even a friend.
Quite a guy.
He certainly is.
So who is this Dr. Quetzal exactly?
He's a world-famous researcher of the mind, Mr. Featherland. He published countless books in the fields of psychology and psychotherapy.
Psycho... what?
Unraveling the mind. It's the most crucial mission of the century, Mr. McChicken.
That's really good to know.
So this doctor's some celebrity, right? Does he usually meet, other important persons?
I'm not sure I know what you mean.
Well, like, Mr. Hobart Wessler, for example.
Ah, yes. That's something you should ask the doctor himself, but unfortunately, I don't think he has time right now.
He's swamped, is he?
Exactly, Mr. Featherland. He is very, very, very busy. All the time.
I thought so. Now, what can you say about this, miss? Have you, seen anything like it?
Of course. Our residents wear these for identification. But how did you come by it? They only wear them inside the institution.
Huh. I see.
The wristband does belong to one of our residents. But I'm afraid I'm not allowed to tell you more due to regulations.
Aha, szóval nem mondhat el többet a házi szabályoknak.
Oh, come on, Miranda. It's us, the Chicken Police.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Miranda, this case is a matter of life and death. Lives are in your hands.
All right. All right. I'll do it. Albert Wessler. The patient's name is Albert Thaddeus Wessler.
Figures. Just as we thought.
Thank you, Miranda. We'll never forget this.
Please, don't make me blush. And don't tell anyone you heard it from me.
Persze nem fogjuk elárulni senkinek. Tehát akkor, de a gyanú az igaz volt. Akkor valóban a csávóé volt, aki valóban Wessler testvéréé volt.
Oh, we won't.
Tehát akkor gyakorlatilag próbálom összerakni a fejembe a képet. Most tehát akkor... Tehát akkor jelenleg úgy járunk, hogy Zip eltüntette Ibn Wesslernek a testvérét. De nem tudjuk miért. Akkor a fő kérdést mindig nem tudjuk, az pedig ugye az, hogy ki zaklatja és miért. Tehát igazából most túl sok információt nem tudtunk, meg inkább még több kérdés jött.
So when can we talk to Mr. Wessler?
I need to ask Dr. Quetzal. Please wait here.
Thank you.
Most van a zöld piton. Igen, ezt tudjuk, akkor ővé ez a hely. Szegény csávó, bazd meg. Akkor innen hiányzik egy ember. És innen hiányzik kettő. Háromról még nem tudunk gyakorlatilag semmit.
We need to let them know we're here first.
Dr. Quetzal will see you. He's waiting for you in his office. Up the stairs, all the way down the hall, until the last door.
What a surprise. It's enough to mention Wessler's name and all the doors are open.
I wouldn't want to get mixed up in this, but do you think Albert is in danger?
Danger? What do you mean?
We haven't heard from him since he disappeared, and we're really, really worried.
I see. We don't know yet, miss, but let's hope for the best.
Great wild ones protect him.
Where is he?
Ott ül szembe.
No idea, Marty.
The smell of all that's furry. I'll never get used to it.
Well, reptiles have a disgusting body odor, Marty, but they feel exactly the same about us.
Exactly.
Úristen! Hogy néz ki?
Great wild ones, you scared the hell out of me.
I already sensed your arrival from afar. You know, snakes have a different sense of smell. And birds used to be our prey once upon a time.
Hát ez nagyszerű.
Well, yeah. Luckily, we're living in civilized times.
Lucky. Please take a seat. How can I help you, gentlemen?
Na, egy úriember. Azt szeretjük. Szeretjük az
Your
úriember.
office is rather Puritan. Simple, I mean.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, yes. I can't let my mind wander from my work. I only keep what's essential in my office.
I see. Makes sense.
Ahogy komoly.
An isle of reason in a sea of insanity.
Insanity is such a strong word, and it's mostly an abstract idea. Where does insanity start, and how long is one not insane? Interesting questions. Am I normal? Or are you? Maybe neither of us.
Igen, ez egy igazi doki gyakorlatilag.
You see, that's something I think about a lot nowadays.
If you like, I can give you an appointment.
Oh, this is your chance, Sonny. Don't miss it. We're already here.
Marty, clock up. Why do you have bars on your windows?
Because it's a room like all the others, and I'm just an animal too, like all our residents.
With the significant difference of you being a doctor and not a patient. Am I right?
It's not as big of a difference as you'd think.
Akkor
Is
az
this
kígyónak
cell
sincsen ki, mint a négy
like the
kereke.
others?
I would rather call it a room. But yes, it's like all the others, except there are even bigger ones than this.
A snake. I can't help it, but they make my feathers stand on end.
Tehát akkor egyelőre, hogy állunk személyek, és akkor itt kaptunk személyes információt vele kapcsolatban, meg a profilképe megváltozott gyakorlatilag. Igen, csávókán meg eltűnt, ugye tudjuk, hogy mi történt vele, legalábbis sejtjük, hogy mi történt vele.
To be honest, gentlemen, your visit is anything but a surprise. I could even say I was expecting it.
What an introduction.
Please forgive me. I have the bad habit of immediately getting into the middle of things. How very rude of me. My name is Dr. Sessuus Quetzalcoatl, but most call me Dr. Quetzal to keep it simple.
Igen, azt
The
tudjuk.
name is Santino Featherland, and this is my partner, Martin McChicken, from...
From the Predatory Division of the Clawville Police Department. Your fame is one step ahead of you.
We're used to it.
Már kezdjük megszokni azt, hogy...
Certainly.
Hogy nézzük?
We have some questions about one of your patients, if you don't mind. We'd like to talk to him, if that's possible.
Na, igen. Már hogyha ez lehetséges, hát
Please be specific, detective.
Look, Doctor, we're too tired to play cat and mouse. Not that snake and chicken sounds any better.
Very funny, I must say. Just what I expected from you two detectives.
We know you know it's about Albert Wessler, Ibn Wessler's secret twin. Ever since we've said his name, all the doors have miraculously opened. That's what we call a bullseye.
Well, yes, why should I deny it? We're talking about a rather illustrious patient here, who's also a very particular medical case.
Now, that's much more interesting. So, are you willing to talk about him?
Because Albert, regrettably, has disappeared, and you are police detectives, I have no reason not to talk to you. Of course, I'm at your service, but you must understand, I can't disclose information about my patients.
Not even if it's a matter of life and death?
Everything's a matter of life and death in here, detective. This is a hospital, even if it's primarily for the mind, not the body.
Still, I'd like to give the impossible a try.
Please, detective, just do your job, and I'll do mine.
Jó, akkor megengedjék, feltegyünk neki kérdéseket ezzel kapcsolatban, és válaszolni is fog. Nagyszerű, akkor fel tudom neki végre tenni kérdéseket. Hát, ha kapunk rá választ. Akkor nézzük.
How long was Albert a resident of the institution?
For quite some time, his first symptoms surfaced in his teens. Depression, panic attacks, and schizophrenia.
Akkor... Szerencsétlennek tényleg nagyon-nagyon gondjai voltak
Was he brought
szerencsétlen.
here immediately after the first signs that something wasn't right?
You know, the biggest problem with an opinion on insanity is that animals are ashamed of it. That's the reason our institution stands out here in the middle of nowhere.
Because animals would rather hide what they're afraid to face.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Igen.
As far as I know, the Wessler family wasn't exceptionally wealthy.
Indeed, they were rather poor, but we offer our services gratis.
Then how do you sustain yourselves?
By the grace of the treasury of King Hector III, of course.
Tehát akkor a király vagyonából működik ez a elmegyógyintézet.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
My family and the royal dynasty had always been on good terms, Mr. Santino.
Ja, akkor már értem. Akkor tényleg egy igazi úriember gyakorlatilag. Mert ugye akkor a családi befolyását arra használja, hogy megpróbáljon segíteni ezzel a élő embereknek. Ott van a kikérdezés.
What kind
Az
of a
érdekes
place
lesz.
is this exactly? I assume it wasn't built as an insane asylum.
It used to be a mansion. Construction started during the occupation in 622. Then it stood empty for almost a century, until finally it went to the crown of Cloville when Hector's great-grandfather took the throne. The rest is history.
How long have you been working here?
I've worked here for more than 30 years, but it's been in my family's possession for almost 150 years.
Az így.
So if I count correctly, as soon as it went to the crown, it was seized by your family.
That's almost accurate, Mr. Featherland.
What a lovely inheritance. Tell me, Doctor, do you know Madame Zavas?
Just like everybody else, I've heard of her, but I never had the pleasure of meeting her in person. I'm sure she's an interesting case.
Az igen! Az kemény. Az kemény. Az kemény.
Oh, you can be sure about that. I'd gladly get you two together if I had the chance. A spare cell would suit her very much.
Is that so?
As it turns out, she likes small, narrow, secret places.
Oh, I see. What a coincidence.
Ez a kígyó, ez nagyon kemény. Az igen. Kihallgatás következik, hölgyeim és uraim, igyekezzünk nem elcseszni. Igen, ez kódex. Igen. Szürcsölgetjük egy kicsit le. Kihallgatás. Na, fullos koncentráció van.
Dr. Quetzal's a real mystery. But I can turn that to my advantage. I just need to focus on the strangest pieces of the puzzle.
Szóval meghívás került Albert az intézményükbe.
So when did Albert become a resident of your institute?
Albert and Hobart, or Ibn as you call him, arrived here almost exactly 4 years ago.
Could you describe that day more specifically?
It was not long after New Year's Eve, maybe the first week of the year, if I'm not mistaken. It was sleeting that day. Wind was banging incessantly on the windows. The power was going out for short periods of time.
What was your first impression of them?
I already knew the Wessler name. I knew who they were. Or at least I knew one of them, Hobart Wessler. He was famous. Gangster, moneylender, celebrity, lover.
And Albert?
He was new to me, an invisible grey ghost. The family had tried to keep his existence a secret.
Why?
Because they were ashamed of him, of course, Mr. Featherland. That's how it usually is.
What was your first impression of him?
He was silent, but observed everything that surrounded him. His eyes were constantly moving, never stopped for a second.
Was he afraid?
I wouldn't say so. It seemed to me that he wanted to move into our institution voluntarily. It looked as if he couldn't wait to be here, alone, locked up in silence and darkness.
Érdekes. Ez mondjuk érdekes info.
Didn't you think of that as unusual?
Of course I did, but who am I to judge? It was rather special treatment.
Rejtélyes részletek rabja. Mondja Ibn Wessler megfenyegetőt, miféle különleges elbánásban részesült.
What kind of special treatment did Albert get?
You know, if an institution like ours has to accept a Wessler as a guest, there's bound to be some favoritism.
And complete secrecy, I guess.
Yes, but that's the case for all our patients, Mr. Featherland.
Of course. So in what way did he receive more than the others?
Basically, we don't admit anyone into our institution without a complete and thorough prior assessment. In the case of Albert, we put that aside.
Jó, mondjuk ez logikus, mert nem akarna túl mélyre ásni a egész maffiás ügyben. Mondjuk ez logikus.
So you didn't even know if he had anything wrong with him?
Initially, no. He was more of a guest than a patient.
Ám közben. Hogy milyennek látta Albertet, amikor először találkoznak? Maga szerint közveszélyes? Vagy Albert hogy viszonyult magához?
How did you see Albert when you first met?
Albert was shy and reserved, like a ghost. He almost never touched anything. It was evident he was exceptionally intelligent. He measured and observed everything around him.
What else?
He was delicate and graceful, almost like a woman. Yes, he was rather feminine. He was an artist, Mr. Featherland, a magnificent painter, and rather good writer, too. Sometimes I even heard him sing.
Why did he have to be locked up?
I asked the same thing at first.
Azt mondja, Albertnek talált
Are you telling me Albert had multiple personalities?
We found out very quickly that there was no other reason for the cause of his seizures. He had a cold and calculating personality who sometimes, especially on stormy days, took the reins over their shared mind.
Akkor igen, több személyiség.
He had these seizures from the beginning.
Yes, Mr. Featherland, but they started to intensify after Albert left our institution for the first
Igen, Kerecsen,
time.
gratulálok. Gratulálok, Kerecsen, belekerültél a videóba. Király vagy. Hát benne leszel, hogy ott hagy... Nem akartam, nem mondunk ilyet. Se semmiről.
He did what? Left the institution? More than once?
Oh, yes, Mr. Featherland. Albert left the institution on several occasions until the last time, when he failed to come back.
Quetzal's not only very observant, but he's addicted to details. I must focus on that if I want to get closer to the truth. Focus. Addicted to details.
Jó, zavarodott. Szóval Albert csak még kibeérkel. Jelkelhet. Mikor és miért hagyta el Albert először az önözőt? Hogy engedhette, hogy Albert elhagyja? Vagy olyan hallott erről lenni? Hát nem, tehát az utolsó kettőt biztos, hogy nem. De lehet. A legelső, meg a második.
When and why did Albert leave the institution for the first time?
It was about 2 years ago. Mr. Hobart Wessler appeared and demanded we let his brother go free. Naturally, we obliged. We had no idea if we'd ever see him again.
But you did.
He returned the same day. Albert was ecstatic. He was unrestrained. I could almost say happy.
That was unusual for him.
I had never seen him like that before, Mr. Featherland. He just smiled and stared at the empty wall for hours.
Did he ever tell you what happened to him outside?
Of course he did. Albert and I had a good relationship. He was working on a painting for his brother.
Was it a painting of a lovely lady cat?
Oh, exactly.
So
you
akkor ő
already knew
csinálta
about
róla a
that.
Várjatok csak! Tehát ő csinálta róla a festményt, és akkor lehet, hogy hogy a képnek a sarka, ami nálunk van, amit minden egyes embernek megmutogattunk már, egy hasonló festményről született. Igen, szerintem az lesz, hogy lehet, hogy csinált egy festményt, és annak a sarka hiányzik. Ahhoz meg kell találni a festményt, de legalább tudjuk már, hogy ki csinálta azt a festményt.
Yes, Dr. Quetzal, I've seen it.
Igen. Megvan. Szóval Albert több ízben is elment, hogy folytathassa a festményt.
So Albert left on many occasions to continue working on the painting.
Exactly, Mr. Featherland. Every time he came back, he was like a different person. But unfortunately, his seizures also multiplied and became more dangerous.
More dangerous.
Albert was hurting himself, and on one occasion He even tried to hurt me. It was unprecedented. It seemed his confined personality was taking over their shared mind entirely, piece by piece.
Do you think the painting caused it?
Not the painting, Mr. Featherland.
But its subject.
Exactly. He was obsessed, right until that fateful day when he returned to us for the last time.
What exactly happened that day, Doctor?
It wasn't Hobart who brought his brother back that day, but two of his gorillas. Not literally, I mean. And Albert was in a terrible, terrible state.
What happened to him?
I don't like to talk about that, Mr. Featherland.
It could be vital to the case, Dr. Quetzal. Don't back down.
Oh, you're right. There's no use turning back now. So, Albert's tongue was torn out, or cut off, I don't know exactly. And he was blinded in one eye, or rather, one of his eyes was missing entirely.
Ooh, bucket.
So you're saying Albert was brought back horribly mutilated?
Yes. And they didn't give any explanation as to what had happened. They simply told me it was some kind of accident.
Dr. Quetzal is cold and professional, but he's also very confused. Maybe it's cruel, but I must exploit his vulnerability if I want to learn everything about Albert.
Természetesen nem hitte, hogy Albert balesetet ért. Mert nem könnyű beszélni el, de megvizsgáltam.
The two fellows who brought Albert back, could you describe them?
Those two fellas, as you put it, were two remarkably huge, rude men.
A ram and a bobcat, perhaps?
No, one of them was a tiger, if I remember correctly. He had a rather fresh bump under his left eye, and the other one was a penguin. But I've never seen a penguin that big in my entire life.
Tehát csak ővelük nem is találkoztunk.
Did they tell you anything besides it was an accident?
They didn't say anything, but gave an obvious signal that I had to keep quiet about what happened.
I see.
-5. De ez miért -5, amikor plusz infót kaptunk, hogy Ergen miért -5? Mindegy.
Pull yourself together, Doctor. What was Albert's condition after the incident?
Mind your tone, Detective.
Sorry, Doc, but I can see you're disturbed by these memories.
How could I not be? I'm not a monster. We're talking about a mutilated animal here.
So, what was he like after the incident?
Even more silent than ever. No surprise, I suppose. He was not only silent in words, but also in his soul and spirit.
What do you mean by that?
He never painted anything again, and his seizures completely stopped.
Ez érdekes. Ez is -5.
What happened then? How did Albert disappear?
A few weeks later, Hobart came to visit Albert one more time. Albert had been in terrible condition by then. We even had to transfer him to another cell, a more safe one.
What did Hobart do during the visit?
He didn't do anything. He just sat and watched his brother, who was in an almost vegetative state by then.
Couldn't you manage to draw anything out of him? You or Hobart?
Nothing. For a while, he was trying to signal something. Perhaps he was too afraid. And most likely his fingers had been broken too, so he couldn't even write.
Tehát akkor azért sem tudott festeni már, mert eltörték az ujjait.
Do you think Hobart could have killed Albert?
It's horrible to say it, but I'm sure of it.
How did he disappear in the end? Did someone come for him?
That's what's most eerie about it all, Mr. Featherland. He simply disappeared. His door, which only I had a key for, was open.
Did anyone see anything?
No one. We interrogated the staff, even the patients. He simply vanished off the face of the wilderness. We don't know what happened to him.
Unfortunately, I have a hunch. Thank you, Doctor. You've been a great help.
Oh, well, I'm glad I could be of help. But please, I now must attend to my work.
We understand, Doctor. Thank you.
Személyi info. 60%-os pontosság. Minden. Igen, nem tudunk ezzel kapcsolatban túl sok mindent. Hát igen. Igen. Albert a testvérei.
That's quite shocking information.
I think you understand why we kept it a secret. If it wasn't for Mr. Wessler's demand, we'd never let any of our patients walk freely outside our institution.
Then the accident happened.
Accident? We didn't believe it, not for a second. After Albert came back to us, horribly mutilated, he was different.
Different how?
If someone got one of his eyes poked out and his tongue torn out, he'd be different, but not like this. Albert was a different person.
We believe you, Doctor. So, can we take a look at Albert's cell?
I'd rather call it his room. Mr. Wessler lived in exceptional circumstances.
Thanks to the Wessler name, I guess.
Yes. Well, we try to make all of our patients stay as comfortable as possible, but Albert certainly enjoyed special favoritism.
I hope you don't mind if we take a look around in there.
That's not going to bother anyone.
Well, that's, surprising.
I've never seen a cell like this before, that's for sure. I wouldn't mind living here myself.
It seems that being a Wessler gets you privileges.
And a healthy dose of danger.
Mostly that, yeah. Let's take a good look around. I'm sure we'll find some answers here. I can almost smell them.
Well, I smell paint, ink, plaster, some kind of oil, aging paper, slight smell of rat, and great expectations.
What the dickens?
Unmistakable. Yeah.
This place is bad for you, pal. But if you've already jump-started your beak holes, then sniff out the solution.
I'm on it, Boss Bird.
Akkor itt lakott.
A small window, a small hope.
Igen, valószínűleg ki akart innen jutni.
No way. Is this some kind of puzzle?
I don't think so. But we could still find something important here. A pattern, a sign, anything.
Mi a szar? Nézzük szét.
Identical twins. And looking at it, they may have easily loved the same woman. 2 men and 1 woman. Nothing good ever comes of that.
Hát, igen.
Well, I wouldn't say that exactly.
Of all the wild ones, Marty, please, stitch up your beak, okay?
Just use your imagination, old bird.
Hú, basz.
Scribbles, newspaper articles, study papers, poems. Perfect chaos.
Just like the troubled mind of a troubled fella.
Yeah, but there's still a kind of order in it. It's just too intricate for you to comprehend.
If you say so, boss.
Look at that. A letter.
Új tárgy. Tehát...
The style. It's very familiar to me.
You've been lonely for far too long, huh?
Not funny, Marty.
It is, a little. So this is an original Albert Wessler.
I think so. It's pretty good, I must say. And I saw something very similar in Natasha's room.
You kept me out of it.
Sorry, little boy. Maybe next time.
És akkor ez van.
You know, I don't think he had it so bad in here.
You mean apart from being separated from everyone you love in an ancient mansion filled with madmen?
You're right.
As always.
Na nézzük a 2 új tárgyat. Az egyik az a
Identical
fotó.
twins. And looking at it, they may have easily loved the same woman.
Igen. És ez.
Albert was madly in love with Natasha and would have done anything for her. I'm afraid he did exactly that.
I know I don't exist. I don't exist because you don't see me, but I'm not what you think. I am. You don't think about me, do you? Never, no. I think if you every day, every minute, always, in my dream, I have become one with him. One soul. You know who I am thinking about, right? Can you feel it? Can you feel that I'm there too, with you? Do you feel it, right? I can't hold it in myself for long. Forgive me, forgive me, forgive me, please, I'm sorry, but I can't help it. The world is crashing down. The world just rooting and rooting, everything is rooting around me. I have to get out of here to become one with my destiny and one with you. Forgive me. Gyakorlatilag szerintem ezt a levelet amúgy vagy Natasha írta, vagy a patkánycsávó írta Natasának, csak nem tudta odaadni neki. Gyakorlatilag arról szól egyébként, hogy állandóan rá tud gondolni, csak, és vele akar egy lenni. Hogy beleszeretett
Albert was
is.
madly in love with... It's a piece of a painting. Judging by how well it was hidden, I'm sure this is what Natasha wanted to show us.
Igen, és akkor valószínűleg ez lesz most ugye a kulcs bizonyítékunk.
What do you make of this?
Apart from the fact the guy was totally insane? I don't know. What should I?
That maybe we've been chasing the wrong person all this time, Marty.
What do you mean?
Everything will be revealed soon.
Why do you have to be so melodramatic all of a sudden?
If I'm right, this'll flip the whole case upside down.
What's that, Sonny? A blurb from some horrible novel?
I just have to think things through before I come to any hasty conclusions, Marty.
Ugh, you're killing me. So, what now? Where to?
Back to Clawville, where we can finally put all the pieces together.
You're driving me crazy. But all right, let's go home.
Albert őrülten vele szeretett Natasába, talán ezért kellett meghalni. Tehát akkor lehet, hogy konkrétan Ibn fenyegeti Natasát ezért az egészért, ami történt. És akkor Ibn a végső tettes gyakorlatilag. Ide elmegyünk, aztán leállítom.
Oh, I don't believe this. Those two again?
Take them out. My car won't last much longer.
Don't worry, Sonny. I was born to do this.
Az adja neki, Marty.
Are you blind or what? Where did you learn to shoot?
Ez megint megvan.
Well, that was close.
A little too close for my taste, and it only strengthens my belief. Wessler is desperate. He knows if we survive, he's done for.
Come on, what did you work out? Will you tell me already?
Sure. Let's put the picture together, piece by piece. Let's start from the beginning. So, we got a case.
Jó, akkor innen fogjuk folytatni. Köszönöm szépen, hogy itt voltatok, és szerintem az a következő videó lesz az utolsó. És a befejező rész. köszönöm, hogy itt voltatok, és akkor legközelebb folytatjuk. Sziasztok, jó éjszakát mindenkinek!